Well, hello there. This is another one of those deals where you're alone in the dark with Isaac David Brigmond. Well, on this episode of Alone in the Dark with Isaac David Brigmond, well, this is the February the 13th of 2015, and I had a relationship and I'm not going to say exactly when I had this relationship, and I'm not going to say exactly when it ended. I'll just say recently. So if you want to know any more about it, let me know and I'll talk to you. But right now I just wanted to say it drives me nuts to think that you could go through life with a person and you have them hide things from you, and then they're not hiding them not to ever tell you about them. They're hiding them to tell you later on. And you're like, oh, yeah, no. Now you want to tell me. When you could have told me earlier about it. Folks, I'm not trying to hide myself from you. It's just that I tried out a project about trying to do a show where it's basically you're sort of in the dark with me. And it kind of entertained me. And I thought that those of you that like what I'm doing, I said, if you like it, I'll keep on going with it. And I need to get back into my ministry I was doing on here too, because I'm trying to be a better man than I was in my past. But do understand that, guys, we will get with girls and women, and we will think that these are the ones for us, and then we'll find out later it ain't right. And it don't matter how long after you have been apart from that person. One day somebody better will come along and promise me, guys, that you will explain to this person that at some point in your relationship, your first Valentine's Day together may not exactly be on Valentine's Day, but it will be a Valentine's Day style event. Because guys, I'm all for saying, look, if I met somebody after Valentine's Day, like the 15th, the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, or whenever it is you meet somebody, you have to say, look, I didn't meet you on Valentine's Day, but it was close enough, and I feel like I owe you a Valentine's Day, even if it's belated Valentine's Day. You don't got to do nothing special, guys. Just let them know you care. Let them know this is if you do find somebody. But if you're still single, then, now look, just don't get to thinking it sounds sick when I say this, but you can date the Lord. How do you date God? Let God know that through all your ups and downs in life, He's been there for you and that you'll be there for Him. I didn't get all this stuff about these people mixing religions to make a religion. I do believe that a person can be of double faiths, but I don't believe in mixing two faiths to make one. I believe you can have two separate ones. Like, you could be a fellowshipper and you can be a Baptist person. Like, you could have a Baptist church you go to, and times you go to a fellowship church. That does not make you a bad person. It makes you, if you follow God, God wants you to follow Him and not worry about what other folks say. And what bothers me, folks, you out there, and you know who you are, men and women, if you don't own something, don't say you do. I mean, if you want to know my living arrangements, my financial situation, I will tell you on request. And when I tell you, I'll tell you the truth. I'm not going to lie and sit there and tell you I own everything in the world when I tell you what I own, if it's any of your business, and that'll be what you know. At least you ain't got to say, he lied to me. I don't own no fancy farm. I'm not no big shot man. I do the best I can, and I do it just like the rest of the world. The way the economy is today, the richest man in the world is having a hard time, and I don't even know if that guy's the same as he was before. What's that mean? That means I don't know if he is the richest man right now, because with the economy, Bill Gates may not be the richest man in the world as he was at one time. And people, stop the mess about getting on the internet and fussing. If you're going to get on there to chat, chat. Talk about the weather. Talk about things. Basically talk to the world as if they were like one person standing or sitting in front of you, and that person is someone you are dying to talk to and want to know stuff about, and they want to know something about you. Don't complain like you're having World War III on there. Y'all get on the internet and abuse the situation. I mean, yes, if you get out of hand like it's, well, you shouldn't get out of hand, but if you're going to do it normally, not like a fighting and stuff. I mean, people have to learn that. And what is this thing about? In my past relationship, and I'm going to be on that subject on demand. You have to basically ask me questions, or sort of like interview me and say, okay, Isaac, answer this question. When was your last relationship? How long did it last? When did you break up? And all that. I'll tell you that if you ask me. All I say is recent past. Okay? All right. In that situation, they told me they were going to do something. And they kind of find out in the process of them trying to do what they told me they were going to do, they couldn't do it that way. They had to do it another way. But instead of telling me that, they wait until I brought it up in a subject, and they say, oh, I couldn't do it that way. I had to do it a different way. But you waited until I had to bring it up in one way before you brought it up and told me the truth. And you say the things that you and your family deal with together, you own it. When it's not yours, it's your family's. Whatever I'm speaking of. Now, I get vague. I'll get vague with you people when I'm trying to keep you from knowing everything in my life. That there's private business and public business. But in order to get my point across, I've got to explain to you. Look, if you're a man or a woman, regardless if you live with your family or alone, if you help your family with something that they own, say that if you have to tell the world about it. Second of all, if you're going to go for a job interview and you can't get the job you went for, but you got another job in the process, say so when you're talking to somebody. Don't wait until the other person says something before you let them know that I couldn't get that job because it wasn't available no more, and now I'm on another job. Well, you wasn't going to tell me that until when? I don't know when. You help your family out with something that your family owns. You don't own it, but you say you own it because you want to look important. I don't care if the person I'm speaking of hears this right now. Because I'm not talking about one person. I'm talking about every one of y'all that do this mess. You know who you are and you know why you're doing it. You're doing it to get aggravating. You're doing it to drive us nuts. You think that if you're not trying to drive us nuts, you're trying to look like you're an important person because you do something. You can't just tell somebody, I don't know right now, but when I know, I'll tell you. I can ask you to go somewhere, and you won't tell me straight up in my face, I don't know right now, but when I know, I'll tell you. It's I don't know. And then you don't do things that God tells you to do. So then you turn around and then you don't do what God tells you to do. So then it turns around and makes it, and this is for everybody that does this, so I'm getting on to all of y'all now. I got some problems too. I'm trying to say we all got problems and we need to straighten out our problems. Like, look, here's one. What about the one about if God's telling you to do something and you won't do it, then all of a sudden, you get to the point where you just keep on not doing what God tells you to do. You keep on not doing what God tells you to do. Next thing you know, somebody's mad at you because you didn't do what God said. So then, the person that got mad at you is all in trouble because they got mad at you. So now you're thinking, that they're going to yell at you a bunch of times when that's the only time they've yelled at you. Then you say you're only dating this person right now because you don't want them to yell at you. You're saying that the time you were dating that man or woman, you only dated them near the end of your relationship. Not before the end, but near the end. You're only dating them so they won't holler at you. Knowing this person has done changed, done got themselves to a point where they're not going to holler no more. You've done told them you wasn't going to go certain places with them. And was they going to be upset if they didn't go to those places? They told you no, they wasn't going to get upset, and they didn't. Oh, they might have been unhappy about it, but get upset. No. Then you say, well, you say, then something comes up in your conversations with each other, and you say, well, I'm only dating you right now because I don't want you to holler. Then you get asked, are y'all still together? And you say, yeah. And then the other one says, how can we still be together if all you're doing is dating me because you don't want me to yell at you? Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't make any sense. And then you get mad and say, you say, it's over. Then you turn around and you tell somebody when they call you on the phone to find out on the phone, because the conversation you had earlier was in text, but you try to find out from the phone call to see what the story is. Then you find out 1 minute you say your phone's about to die, next minute, well, you're babysitting and you letting one of your family members use your phone until they get their phone fixed. So I don't know. It's getting to the point where I'm saying, people, quit doing this mess. When you do stuff that don't make no sense, don't you think it makes it hard? It don't matter if it's me, you, or whoever. If we do this stuff, we need to stop and ask God, look, God, what do I do here? Because it seems to me that I've lived my life about like that Elton John song. I'm going to sing part of it. It seems to me I've lived my life like a candle in the wind, never knowing when you're going to blow me out. I'm standing there a burning, not a knowing when you're gonna blow and it's all over. And I don't know where to stand. That's true. I just sung that because it's true. I don't know. So people, get it straight and put God first in your life and help God get you where you need to be in relationships. Well, I'll talk to y'all later. Sorry I got upset, but I had to get something off my chest. If any of y'all love me, then thank you for being there for me, and thank you for letting me unload like that on y'all. I'm not mad at y'all. I'm just mad at the people that do this stuff. And y'all know what? I'm tired of it. And please, get it straight. Good evening. And thanks for watching Alone in the Dark with Isaac David Brigmond.